Hello all, Dr. Fox back here with you the weekend update. I'm sorry again for the mic troubles. I just can't get that microphone to work properly. We're just having issues. And I've tried my other professional microphone to get that working, and the little tweaks on that are giving me issues. And with that, love is in the air. Patch 9.2! Official release 2 weeks. Well, less than 2 weeks. We'll get into that and more. Dr. Fox back here with you the weekend update. I know I had a little jolt of just a little excited, I guess, for 9.2 to finally drop. Sadly, not the 9.2.5 when factions come together, because there's a lot of programming going on. They're going to need some time to do that. And for those that are looking for, where's Miss Mora today? My baby. That's my baby. Yeah, that's my mama. And I know, right? I'm like, hey, at least I'm color coordinated. So I'm all dressed up top, and you got like PJs at the bottom. Nothing wrong with that. It's alright. That's how she likes it down here. That's her little bitty bye. Gosh, Love is in the Air is live. Same old goodies. Is there anybody even still trying for such the ungodly amount of chances and such a small micro chance of that love rocket, or a couple of people actually getting them and throwing them on the auction house, and they're just megally overpriced because of the chaos? I'm running a couple every once in a while. Like, I've been doing my dailies to help my hubby with his Night Elf Warrior character. We're really starting to get his gear up. His gears. He's got lots of gears. I think we're up to item level 218. I think he finally hit epic. Oh, epic! That's it. I think I was all excited. He finally, yeah, she's stretchies. Oh, your mama's stretching. Your mama's stretchy girls. Patch 9.2 released officially under 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Less than that, actually. February 22nd. Not too far away. Technically 10 days from now. So less than 2 weeks. We have like 1 week and you got a minus. 10. There's like 10 days there, so you minus 4. So it's like 1 week and 3 days, if you will, after this. Well, if you don't see this till Sunday, then it's even 1 day closer for you. So, yahoo! Less than 2 weeks. And then, of course, the raid goes live on March 1st, the following week, and then so on. So you'll get the first 8 bosses available. People have been showing them off on PTR, so that there's at least a little bit of some surprise for us, so that they didn't put them up there. We'll get the following week, we'll get the last 3 bosses, so I guess there'll be some interesting surprises for many of us. Trust me, that doesn't mean I know what's going to happen or I have any idea. I have a lot of predictions, but that's it. I think I'll kind of leave it at that, right? 9.1.5 for any of those that still need a few goodies there before this wraps up in the next less than 2 weeks. Or 1 week and a half. Those that don't know, that reference is from the Total Recall character when Arnold Schwarzenegger has to take the mask off and it's malfunctioning. So she starts to, before it comes off, and that little, it's really, anyway, that's just where one of my many references come from. But for those that need to do 9.1.5 wrap up goodies, any of those that need that keystone mythic master mount, you need a minimum of, like, I think it was 2,000 points for mythic. I don't even know what my points are. I've been avoiding mythic like the plague, so I know I'm going to miss out on that mount. That one's going to be gone. But the vicious mounts, we know, we usually tend to see those later on, and they come back in form of currency eventually. So we don't have to worry too much about that vicious mount. Really, it's just those keystone master mounts that you can get. Thankfully, in 9.2, I guess the rep is a little bit going to be slightly less work for those that were feeling, oh gosh, we got to come in every day, and I got to hit every elite, and I got to hit every quest, and excuse me. I mean, you can still do that, but it's nice to know that you can kind of come in and maybe like what I remember what I was doing like with the callings. Of course, now I have all my callings maxed out, so I'm actually finally able to do some other content right now, and I'll get into that in a minute. But when you go into 9.2, I mean, there's still going to be that rep, which probably be another one of the reps I'll be cranking out at, you know, hopefully with my hubby there as we get underway with the new expansion. We're both, or new expansion, the new patch to wrap up the expansion. Gosh, bear with me. My brain injury does this. Like, it thinks the thought, and by the time it processes and comes out, it's different. So it takes a little more concentration there sometimes. It's not quite as easy as it used to be. Cough, cough. So, yeah. There's also this sort of group skinning issue going on where people can, like, create groups to, like, 2 to 4 groups kind of situation. And there's more details about how that all works, but I just wanted to kind of just throw a bullet point at it just to make a brief mention of it. I won't go into too much detail on that. Soul Cinders is in 9.2. You'll be able to actually like send those from your alts or vice versa. Kind of like what you can do in Korthia with one of the other items as well. And I think with that, today we're going to get into our Transformer reveal. And I'm excited. We're finally moving into some of my favorite, because at the time back then, we were kids, and we didn't just have parents buy our stuff. We had to work very hard for these, and the mini-cons were the ones that I could finally afford somewhat. So half of the mini-cons were my brother's, and half were mine, and we kind of played with them together, and we had a couple of them that would break and just not go so well. So I finally found... not only that, but I've always been bumming that I mean, I know they did in Japan, and you can look online now. People will 3D print them, and there's so many variations. And Hasbro has come out with sort of a couple of official ones, and now there's a better Spike in his exo suit, and it'll actually transform better. But I did find this one a bit back. This is not actually the Gen 1. I'll get to that one in a minute. But this is one of them this is Bumblebee. One of my all-time favorite voice actors, who did the Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends back in the day. And I always wish that they would have gotten him to voice him when he finally got his voice back. I'm like, that would have been so epic. I understand why they did it for the current voice actor. By all means, no hate on him. By all means, no, he's great. He does all kinds of great stuff too. But I'm just saying it would have been great. But we were doing that. I just want to look at the, this was a little Bumblebee pack, actually, that came. You can see even his little blaster here. Well, you know what's kind of neat I like about this is, I love it when engineers, especially when sort of being somewhat of a scientist, engineer, / doctor, / like Jane of many trades, right? I always loved, especially in my experience and hands-on work, when you can take an item and it has more than one use. That's how I kind of approach most of the way I have things here in my home. It's like, if it has more than one use, like a great example, okay, you'd think that it's just the treats, the temptation treats, right? The cat treats box, right? Of course, after we'll wash them out sometimes and use them to like put pencils in and stuff, right? It's really cheap way, like what, instead of getting holders like that at like the Dollar Tree, or I'll recycle and I'll buy more little bags of them and I'll fill that box back up and I'll keep using the box. Or sometimes when we're traveling, I'll flip the top and it's like a little tray. I know it's a little harder on the poor baby to eat it. And I'm sure some are going, oh, that poor baby has to suffer. Well, does it really look like she's suffering that terribly? I'm just kidding. But we'd use that like a little dish for... Sometimes when I used to travel, for those that might have remembered, I think I've done something like that. Some of my really old videos. But anyway, what I was getting at is it was so neat that like his little blaster, if I can show that here, maybe show that in the camera better. Right here, the little blaster. This can also, when he transforms, the blaster becomes his muffler. And I'm like, that is brilliant. I absolutely love that. And I always used to say that when I was a kid. I was like, when you transform one, what about the blaster becoming like the little muffler or something, that, or a way to put it into their hand to make it like, and I thought that was a brilliant design. I just had to share that. So that was this version of Bumblebee we have, and also comes with, so it's a 2-pack. I got this at Target. That's where I got mine. You don't have to actually get them there. And this did come with Spike, and this is him in his extra. You can't really see him. They just fog out the little helmet area, so you can't really tell who. I mean, it could be, you could pretend it's you or Chica or Daniel in there, or whatever you want to do. It's kind of neat. But and it does transform. It does transform into the little exosuit, which was one of my favorite. I always dreamed of like 3D printing an actual exosuit. Yes, I know at some Comic Cons we've seen a few pop up, but you get my idea what I'm kind of getting at here. But I thought that was kind of neat of how it came together in this little package. Now, to go back more classic, of course, this is the mention of the little. I got these little guys at Walmart. They were in like little kisses. There was these little rectangle boxes for like $2 a piece. Came with 2 kisses, and it had a little transformer in there. So I've got like Bumblebee, Optimus, Starscream, and Megatron. And there were a couple of neat little ones. And then at Walmart, there's these, I don't know if you can see them, they're like little keychains. There was like, there's Megatron, Soundwave. My Soundwave's hanging, it's hanging over there. I've only found those 2 so far. There's also Prime Bumblebee, but this was the one more featured in like the Bumblebee movie and the Michael Bay type films. A little bit slightly different look for him there. And then, of course, we go back to, and of course, see, I have more than one Bumblebee for this. Just like with my RCs. I have a couple of RCs. And then, of course, and of course, my all-time fave is gotta be this version of Bumblebee that we got. This was Gen 1. His little Volkswagen, yellow Volkswagen mode looks, and look, it's even got the little rub, so you're like, ooh, wait, what? Oh, it's an Autobot. It did. I couldn't find it. Maybe I missed it in the packaging, but I was very articulate to look. This was the reissue, though, because the original version, and I even bought my brother a couple of versions of reissues, and we'll get into that as I begin to start talking about more of the mini-cons and the Transformer mini-cons. But this is going to be, and I know Bumblebee's quite the fan favorite. Obviously, he got his own movie as well, but it would be so brilliant. I would love to see the voice actor come back for that. But it's, and basically it's just a remodel for Cliff Jumper, and it's and then there's that very rare version. If we talk about that briefly, that there is a yellow Cliff Jumper version. And I remember seeing that, and then they said if you have one of those, it's worth a bit more. So there's Bumblebee transformed. This is G1, so this is G1 compared to like a reissue of this one here. I can show those maybe better in the camera. Whoops. Sorry, I'm trying to get used to my. There we go. And then compared to the size of the, now these don't articulate at all. These just have literally one stance, and that's it. These were just some little ones. And then of course this is the exosuit next to this Bumblebee, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like compared to the size of this Bumblebee. So that might kind of give you an idea anyway. So I was really excited, and I know I hinted at it last weekend's update. And hope you got a good little kick out of that one. I think with that, we're going to switch gears, which also is a mini-con, by the way, coming up. We will be touching on him here eventually. Yes. He likes Bumblebee. Rub. No, that was me. So, yeah, it's all good. Hey, you got to enjoy a little bit, right? Instead of people having attitude and issue with every little thing you do these days, it's like we got to have a moment of joy in there somewhere we've got to drop. So I think with that, we're going to shift gears. I'm really excited. We've been really pounding away the pavement at helping my other half get his night elf to 208, I think, is his rare set. That's where he's at right now. He had epic That's a reference to the innkeeper in Hearthstone. If you get an epic card, he's like, epic. And you'll get that when you get to a certain point of item level. And we hit that for him, and we've been slowly unplugging. I think we're up to tier 3, just plugging them away every day. We're not hitting every layer, and we're not hitting every treasure. A lot of the treasures we just fly by, but we are hitting at least some every once in a while. Some are really hard to get to. They're easier when you're like a warrior. You can kind of shoot up there with the little like leap forward power, and then every once in a while I've also had enough research that I think I'm down to, I got 2 more pieces to max out my character's item level to 233 right now. My item level's 232 because I got 2 more pieces that I need to max out to 233. But I took 2,500 of those, and I sent this one, Stephanie, or Steph, if you will, and I've been upping her gears, her gear. Right now, I think she's at around 208 or 207, 208. Somewhere close to 211, 212 maybe. I'm getting closing in on. I know she still needs some tweaking, but I've been we'll do the dailies over there, and then I'll come over and I'll been plugging away at her because I'm trying to bring up her gears a little bit. Maybe it'll just be a waste of time because there'll be maybe an easier catch-up option in 9.2. Which I'm sure some will say, let's wait until that. I've kind of seen a few of those questions kind of passing through, if you will. I think with that, we're gonna. I love my calendar kitties, sweet little calendar kitties, and we're gonna talk about it. Of course, you do see Dark Moon Fail last day today. If you want to grab that 10%, and one of the last things I've been doing, every once in a while, when we have a show on or something, what I'll do is I will just put my 10% on, and I'll fly all the way up. I'll take the Shatrot portal. I'll take like the Dalaran Hearth first, then I'll take the Shatrot portal. And then I'll go up to like Mechanar. I call it Alcatraz. It's like Arcatraz. And the other one, and I was like grinding out the Shatar. I know that's reset for the day, so I can pop that out. There's just a little bit left on that one. That should get me to 92. And then on Tuesday at the reset, I can finally hit Karazhan. I know there's a way you don't have to kill the bosses, but I like making a full run through it. And yes, I know you can do like the LFR, looking for group type, but I just like to do it the more casual way. And I've been doing that. That should get me at around 93 reps. So I need 7 more reps. And I know there's a new one coming in 9-2 pretty soon that I'll be grinding out. So there's one. So there's 6. I've got to come up with 6 more earlier ones. And I'm having the hardest time with Uglia. It's just like 3 quests a day. It's like anyone that stays with that one, hey, kudos to you. I have asked my other half, I'm like, I don't mind trying to do it with somebody every day, but when I gotta do it alone, it's like, it's exhausting. So today's the last day of Dark Moon Fair. Lunar Festival also will be wrapping up tomorrow. If you're seeing this on Sunday, then it will have wrapped up today or that morning, sadly, by 10 a.m. Pacific time. But you always had 3 hours for us up here. Eastern Standard Time, EST, 10, 11, 12, 1. So 1 p.m. or 12:59, it'll just pretty much start to disappear within that minute as well. So this week we're going to get ready before the big blast of patch 9.2 the following Tuesday. So you have about a week and 3 days approximate you've got in there ish to kind of work through this. Time walking, that's ending this week. That's Kata. I've been trying to at least run 1 with a couple of my characters. We have been queuing once a day with about 3 of my characters because my other half, he has 3 characters, so we've been just queuing just the 3 times every day for Loves in the Air. Like, I don't expect the Love Rocket to drop. I'm like, I'd be floored if I actually did, but I'm like, everybody else is probably getting their hands on. Not everyone else. But let me know if you actually finally got one. Especially when that report came out a few months ago that, like, supposedly we're down 3 million subscribers. But when a new major patch drops, like it's going to in a couple weeks, and a new raid, we tend to see a bit of a boost, and a lot of people are starting to come back because they're getting ready for that over the next, or having to tidy anything up they need to do when they do that. So Time Walking Cat, that's ending this week. World Quest bonus event, that's beginning for another week. Excuse me. PvP Brawl, Shadow Pan Showdown, that's ending. PvP Brawl, War Song, Scramble. I can't quite do that anymore. I got more tighter skin before I can really wriggle it and shake it. But I'm glad I don't. I'm glad it's not too shaky right now anyway. But the PvP Brawl, War Song Scramble, that begins. And then, like we said, Love is in the Air. That will end on the 21st, which is literally, it'll end the day before our new patch goes live for that. 9.2. Not 9.2.5, but 9.2. 9.2.5 should be coming, probably my guesstimated guess, something like what we saw with Miss Pandaria. Labor Day, probably a little later than that. More like it tends to be like 6 months. So probably fall, most likely. I know that is closing in on fall-ish. Maybe late September, early October we might see it. Maybe November. I mean, it all depends. Well, if we get the pre-pay, it all depends. I mean, that's, hey, I just want to make sure it's not about, following exact numbers. Obviously, we want them, if they're going to put out good product, we want them to put out a good product and not put it incomplete, if you will. But that's just an extremely guesstimate. And then we should start seeing like the pre-orders coming for the new expansion. And then, of course, when the new expansion launches, always up till Shadowlands will be included. The prior expansion is included in it through that as well. So I think with that's going to kind of tie us up. And look, it's 12:34. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love those little references like that. Right, Miss Morakins? So, where's Miss Mora? She's hanging out with Mum today. Oh, being a cutie. Gonna get my weekend afternoon snack. And I've been watching Legend of Vox Machina for any other. I'm sending out a shout out to a couple of my fellow voice actors and actresses on there, sending some love, and go Vox Machina. I just love it. It's good stuff. I went back and to watch some of their original ones. That we can thank a good friend of mine from our guild. Thank you, Dan. For your intro to that whole thing, and my brother for them, and I'm so ecstatic to see that. I would love to see Jane Friday done in that animation. It would just be, I'd be tickled pink to see that. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Do a couple of things to get you through. Happy Valentine's Day if you celebrate it this week. Remember to try to be a little loving all throughout the year if you can, not just on one particular day or the day before. I know there's also up here. There's a theater that's going to have a special love theater showing tonight, I think, because they're from LA Law, a couple of the actors. So shout out to some fellow actors as well, and send some love, try to pull your way through the next week if you can. Come back, and once again, we know we will see you later. Yes. Oh, it's my baby.